In this interview, Larry shares how he got his retirement visa in Bali, Indonesia, and the process to enter Bali now, including the quarantine requirements. This video is part 2 of an interview. In part 1, Larry shared why he left Vietnam after living there for 19 months. Okay, good. So tell us about Bali, the backup visa you have. Not a bad place to be. One of my favorite places in the world.
Yeah.
What does it take, and how did you get it?
Yeah, I applied when I started to see all the changes that were going on in Vietnam. I wanted to have a backup. So about 3 months ago, I started working with a visa agent in Bali, and they weren't letting anyone in at that time. And I said, look, can you go ahead and start applying for my retirement visa there? And yes, you can. And then you tell us when we'll get it approved. And once you are ready to come in, then we'll finish the rest of the part of it. So I did that. And Bali requires that. And they're also doing a social. I think they've reinstated the social visa that you can come in now if you don't have a retirement visa. But their retirement visa is that you've got to be a minimum 55 years old. You have to scan them a copy of your color passport and have 18 months left valid on your passport. You have to have your health insurance. You've got to fax them a copy of your health insurance. And if you have life insurance, they'd like to see that too. And you also have to send them the latest 3 months of your bank statements, because I think you have to have like a minimum of $1,200 or $1,500 a month. I don't know exactly what the minimum is for the retirement visa. And the final is that you have to have a sponsor in Bali, someone that lives there already, that maybe has a resident address that you can use their address, and they have their national ID. And that shows that they're sponsoring, that's where you would live until you got your own
apartment, right? Yeah, and if you have,
okay.
So you either need the sponsor with a local address, or you need an apartment that you already have there. You can give them that
you show them the lease. Yeah, that's it. But there's not a put down so much money and then they put it in a bank or anything. It's that you don't have to do that.
And how much does it cost?
Mine is about $500 for my $550 for the total visa.
Does that include the agent?
Huh?
Did that include the agent that you have paid to help you?
No, I think I have to pay another $150, so about $650 or $700 total for the whole thing.
Wow, that's great. So tell me about the bank statements. Do they have to show a series of months where the 15 or whatever the number is, 12 to 1,500 a month, is dropping into that account every month, and then show what the source is? How does that work?
Yeah, they want 3 consecutive months of your latest bank statements, and they want to see that much money is going into your account each month. That's what they're looking at.
Okay. All right, great. Did they give you any detail about that? Like if you have a number of sources all coming in, or do they all want it all in one chunk, or did they talk about that at all, or they just want to see deposits for 3 months in a row to see what they total? Any of that?
They wanted it all together. If you're on a pension or whatever, they see that pension money every month, how much it is.
Okay.
Or an income that you have coming in, so they can see something on a regular basis. What they're looking for.
I see. Great. Wow, that's great. And then do you go see them once a year after that? How do you renew it?
You have to go. It's good for 1 year. It's multiple entry. You can come and go as you please. And then you renew it every year. And I think you can renew it every year up for 5 years.
And then, so does that mean you can jump on a jet now and fly there? And do you have to quarantine? How does it work?
Right now, I think they have a 7-day quarantine period that you have to fly to Jakarta. Because
Okay.
I don't think they've resumed any direct flights to Bali yet. So you'd have to spend a week in Jakarta and quarantine, and then you can go on to Bali, and that's it.
Wow, great. And so is it just a Bali visa, or can you go anywhere in Indonesia?
No, I think you can go anywhere I think you can go anywhere in Indonesia. It's done for all of Indonesia.
That's great.
It's really a good option now, Dan, because a lot of people are looking, saying, okay, we're in Vietnam or we're in other countries. Where can we go, or what can we do? And that was always an option I left open for myself.
Okay, good. So let's say that you're Joe Blow from somewhere in the U.S. You'd never been to Indonesia, and you want to go there for a year and hang out. Your buddies live there, whatever, but you don't know any locals. How do you find a sponsor if you don't have an apartment there yet?
I would maybe suggest that they take that up with the visa agent that they're going to use,
Okay.
and ask for alternatives, that because they may have like different sponsors or people that could say, okay, we can sponsor you to do this until you get your own apartment and that sort of thing. So they may have something like that, but I didn't have to do that, so I didn't question it.
Oh, great. That's great. Wow. Well, and you're in Seattle now. You're able to get your vaccine. That's great.
Yeah, it is. You know, Dan, I have not been back to the States for 19 months. I kept waiting. Couldn't get a haircut either because all the barbershops and salons are closed. They're locked down. You got 13 million people locked down. Can't go out to eat, or you can't get a haircut. They've cut off all the buses almost. So, you know, I just didn't want to get caught there. And when I came back to the United States, I went to Safeway, and I felt like Tom Hanks in the movie Terminal, just looking around. I'm so out of touch with the United States.
Yeah.
And how much they have in Safeway and all these different items and products. I just, you know, in awe.
Yeah, totally. It's I know the feeling. And so do you have family in Seattle?
Yeah, my daughter lives here, and they live in Burien. They've got a nice home overlooking Puget Sound. So it's kind of like I'm on vacation when I come here. I'm in a hotel room here because I told my daughter, I said, before I come over to the house, let me self-quarantine for 5 or 6 days. And so I'm doing that because they've got I've got young granddaughters. So I don't want to go over there and make sure I don't have anything.
Yeah.
But my girlfriend just was texting me, said they have 407 new cases in Vietnam of COVID now. Overnight. 407
in all of Vietnam.
So, yeah, in all of Vietnam. And but you know, they're up to about 6,000 or 7,000 cases all over. And they were even quarantining young children that went to school, and they had like 4,000 children quarantined in their school away from their parents. And I mean, they're very serious about locking down all the areas.
Yeah.
But they've got to have the vaccine, Dan, and they came out with a statement that they're going to test 13 million people to see if they've got COVID. And that would take 4.5 months at 100,000 people a day. But they just need the vaccine. They really need the vaccine badly.
Are they getting a lot of the Southeast Asian countries have China helping out with their vaccine? Are they getting the Chinese vaccine there in Vietnam, or which one are they?
I think they're getting some, and the Russians have also sending more vaccines.
Okay.
But you know, Dan, for a long time I stayed in Vietnam because we didn't have hardly any COVID cases, and it was for 90 days there we had no COVID cases recorded, and then all of this pops up again in the fourth wave, and it's just spread all over, and mainly in the north, outside of Hanoi, with the factory areas. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable how well Southeast Asia did in the first 2 or 3 waves. And they were really a model. Almost all of Southeast Asia compared to, you know, the US or Brazil or, you know, Italy, other countries that just have had a terrible time at it because, you know, in the South, it's more of the Asian way to just follow rules, whatever they are, even if you, you know, if it bothers you or whatever, it's just their culture. But now they're getting their butt kicked. Do you think it's because of the variants that are out there now?
The variants that are out there, and one of the main things in Ho Chi Minh, there was a religious Christian gathering for like a church there, and they shouldn't have gathered with that many people, but they had COVID broke out from those people in this one Christian scenario, and it spread in Q Vap. It was in the district of Q Vap, which is out near the airport, and then it spread from there, and then it went to District 12, where there's a lot of factories in Ho Chi Minh, and so it just kind of started taking off, and they've tried to stop it with the quarantines, but it keeps spreading. So.
Okay, so do you think, I know Larry, you've been all over the world. Do you think you prefer Bali over Vietnam, or do you think you'll go back to Vietnam if they get it together?
I will go back to Vietnam if they do. You know, I like Vietnam. I love the people there, love the foods. But Bali was the best alternative for me at this time. That way, if I can't get back into Vietnam, I'll go to Bali, get the retirement visa set up, and then be able to commute, because the rainy seasons are opposite. When it's dry in Vietnam, it's raining in Bali. And when it's dry in Bali, it's raining in Vietnam.
Oh, that's great.
So I was saying maybe I could just commute, then miss the rainy seasons in both areas. But I like Vietnam. I loved living in Vietnam. I still like it very much, and I want to go back. And I'm hoping that they will resolve the visa scenarios for all the people coming in. And Americans, we had it really good before, and that's why when we could get a year's visa, I said, this is going to be a great place for me to retire, because I can just get getting the yearly visas. And 2 years later, they changed. And that's, like we talked before, that's a situation that's always up for renewal and change in all the overseas countries, especially in Asia now.
Hey, if you live somewhere in the world that's beautiful and cheap and you'd like to come on the channel and be a guest star and tell the public about it, please leave a comment below. Thanks so much. Hey, if you liked our video, please like, comment, or subscribe. Any of that would help our business. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Click the link in the notes below this video to get a copy of this content. Plus, grab a free copy of my ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World for 13 Years. While you're there, check out our catalog of retired cheap reports all over the world and our hobby income course that we just released. Thanks so much.